All right, we're live talking about the Xfinity race at the No Wraps NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series at Phoenix. Pretty much the only thing I think I'll be talking about in this slate is the value range. Yet again, if you want to see any of the data that I make or any of the tools that we have at PayDirt, you can join and get 50% off your first month with PD Welcome, the code PD Welcome, which is at the very top of this description. Now, this is the first week I am not streaming on any other channel other than the PayDirt channel, which is the goal and the main thing I want to end up doing here. So why am I focused on who are what are we doing in the value range, right? Well, it's because clearly Allgaier looks amazing, right? And this is one of his best tracks. Okay, Tanner Gray looks amazing. Okay, he's starting first. He's a car that we were playing last year, especially towards the end of the year, and he is a individual who we would expect him to lead laps and start competing pretty decently this year. Now his price tag is at 9,400, which I'm not. Let me make sure on that. Let me check. Let me just make sure. Yeah, he's 94, starting on the pole. I would imagine that a decent amount of lineups today are going to have a combination of Allgaier, Tanner Gray, so on and so forth. So what I really actually want to look at is the kind of where the value is coming from, and specifically what are we doing with the kind of builds where we're at here, because we're probably going to see a pretty high combination of Allgaier, Gray, Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed, and stuff like that. Wait a minute. Wait a daggum minute here. Okay, yeah, Sheldon Creed is 16th. Okay, for whatever reason, I was freaking out because I thought I had him starting 31st. I was like, why is he showing up in 31st? That is very strange. Okay, oddly enough. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I think it seems to be Parker Retzloff today. That is going to probably be the best or the most used play in the back. I think taking, between Gray, Patrick, Parker Retzloff starting 28th, 29th, and 31st, I think those are probably the first main places to go. Now, I'm probably going to be bullish on Patrick to start the year just because I think people will probably not want to play him. I mean, possibly they will now that we're at a real track. But his ownership was very, very low at Daytona. His ownership was pretty, at least not played last week. So I think Patrick seems to be like kind of the first place that I'd want to go. It really sucks that like Brendan Poole's starting 20th and stuff. Just because that's probably where he's going to end up finishing. But the fact that we have quite a lot of like 5K guys and 6K guys starting from 25th, 27th on back, that should, encroach value, makes this a slate to where, yet again, I mainly want to focus on the value plays because you really, really don't need me to, explain like who the potential lap leaders and stuff are here. When we look at these guys in the back of the field, like as stated, I think it's clearly Parker Retzloff as the main guy that people are going to use. I would not have any interest in Maggio and Hill and Cram and Gase and Austin J. Hill. I've been trying to figure out this, who I'm kind of using in this value range between 27th and 30th and stuff, mainly because it seems to be a pretty chalky slate due to the salary constraints that we're at here. We haven't even mentioned William Byron yet. I just think that Justin Allgaier is just a better play, even if William Byron takes the lead at some point, which I think Tanner Gray and Jesse Love will give him a pretty decent run for his money to lead early. There's been a lot of Phoenix races where I have not played Allgaier. Excuse me. I got saved one year when he blew a tire, when he like clearly was destroying the field. But this is just not a race where I feel a need to just get off of Justin Allgaier. We run into a situation to where, you know, Allgaier and Tanner Gray together is $7,200 on average for your remaining drivers. Yet again, that's why I'm focused more on, what we're doing in the value range here. I mean, even when we start looking at when you look at like practice data and stuff here, like Patrick was slow, so I mean him and Mason are practically running the same here. I mean, everything's looking like Parker Retzloff, and just from a game theory perspective, I think, depending on how many lines you're running, I still think you want to be under the field on Retzloff and just see what happens here, right? Let me see if there's anybody here today. Yeah, I mean, Ellis, Perkins, Retzloff is value. Like I said, I really don't want to be using Ryan Ellis if I can help it. I would rather take a guy that I think can run a bit up front. Let me look at his stuff really fast here. I mean, I guess we could. It's 5,300. What type of builds are we getting here? Going near, because I guess Ellis is the cheapest that we would end up going to. I mean, if anything, if I'm playing Ellis, I'm much more likely to have him with Parker Retzloff than one or the other. I think if you're playing Retzloff, I think you have to play him with another low on value in the back of the field. Like, I don't think he can be your only one. If you're not playing Retzloff, I think I am more inclined to not do that, only because I really think Austin Green performs pretty I think there's a lot of 6K guys that could perform really well today, right? You have Dean Thompson starting 23rd at 68. You have Green at 66. Obviously, going back to Patrick at 65. Retzloff in 64. I'm more inclined to take more of those guys than moving down towards the 5K range. What do I have? Ellis here. I'm really I mean I gave Ellis right now. I have him finish or passing 10 cars right now and still finishing around 30th to 29th. I'm really concerned about him going a lap down early. Well, actually, fair point with lap cars here at Phoenix. I would expect some pretty green runs. And if we don't have a yellow pretty quickly right off the bat, even with Ryan Ellis having a rather decent car, there is a chance that he gets just trapped in traffic. I would expect to see if this racing is going green, we'll probably have 14 cars in lead lap at some point, and I think the cutoff for 2 down is probably going to be closer to 27th at some point. So you need whoever you're playing in the back of the field to at least have a decent chance of running inside the top 27 to not get stuck 2 down, not potentially have a situation where they're just kind of stuck there. And I feel, I just feel like Parker Retzloff and Ellis are kind of too chalky for what I'm trying to do here, right? Or maybe we do need to get different in the AK range, but I don't want to play Raja Caruth. I think there's very limited upside between Carson Kvapil and Sam Mayer. I mean, Sam needs 45 points to hit value right there. He's starting 12th. And I just don't think I think the 9K range is rather unplayable today since we're playing Tanner Gray, Allgaier. Some people might choose to play William Byron and whatever. I really, really think this is you have your 9,000, 11,000 guy, and I think I'd rather play the rest of the field in the mid range versus doing a true stars and scrubs lineup because I think we're going to run into duplications like that. I mean, let's take a quick look at where kind of where this is looking at in terms of exposure. Let's see. So even with Ryan Ellis projected to be pretty bad, and when I'm looking at my top 1,000 lineups and stuff, he's still in 17% of them, right? Which I'm concerned about that. I really don't want to play a chalky 5K guy. Which if my stuff is showing that, it's probably a decent play, right? Same thing with Retzloff. Like Retzloff is in 33% of my top lineups, right? That's more so of the mentality that I have of like, what can I do to get different? I think I will probably end up clearly, like I'll have Parker Retzloff lines and Ellis's lines, but I'm just really concerned about, or I'm really focused on not getting those guys here. Who do I have that's like my stuff likes Dean Thompson today. My stuff likes LeVar Scott over LeVar Scott at 4,900. Now LeVar is fairly which I mean, granted, look, all I'm judging him off of is his ARCA stuff, and then he spun the car rocking him, but he didn't destroy the car. But LeVar Scott is probably a guy that I'd want to kind of focus on here, dude. I mean, the guy never won. He never really did anything in ARCA, right? But in terms of reliability, Alpha Beta Prime car starting 49th or starting 49th, starting 30th, at 4,900, which is a pretty big pivot off of the Ryan Ellis. I mean, that's $400 extra that you have. I think I'd rather use LeVar Scott today over Ryan Ellis. What do you do if you do that together? Like if we're getting like super aggressive here, I guess if you're chasing 9,000, you can do that. I just feel like most lineups, like regardless of what you're building with, is going to have at least 2 to 3 people from 27th on back in your lineups, right? Maybe even 23rd on back. I think we'll use second half of the field from like 19th on back. I think 3 to 4 drivers in your lineup are going to be going that way. And if it's 4, you're chasing 6 and 7K guys. If it's 3, that means you're hoping that somebody like Austin Hill, Carson Kvapil, Sam Mayer, Harrison Burton, somebody like that manages to clear their value, which I don't know how likely that is. Like right now, I have Austin Hill projected for got him for 7th, right? And with 7 fast laps, I gives him 49, 15 as a projection. If he doesn't have any of that stuff, he's right around like 46 points, right? That's a very similar outcome with Sam Mayer, Carson Kvapil, Sawalish, even Creed to an extent. Like there's a real chance that Mayer, Hill, Kvapil, Creed, they only score 48 points, 48, 47, 46 points, right? I don't know if that's going to be enough at their price tag where you're having to jam in Tanner Gray plus one of William Byron or Justin Allgaier. And then even like Chandler Smith is interesting, as I said. Dean Thompson seems interesting. Like these are just I think those are places where I'd rather have exposure to versus like really, really getting crazy up front. Personally, I'm probably going to lock Taylor Gray. I'm probably going to lock Justin Allgaier and just see what happens on this slate here. I mean, I don't know if Caruth is, just because he's not in the Hendrick car this week. Now, it could very much be a Hendrick prepared car. I mean, him and oh my god, I forgot the other guy's name. I just went blank. I just went blank on who the other guy is. Two of the junior motorsport guys are running full time, but they are supplementing races that they don't have that with a DGM car, I believe. And so like this is a race where I don't think Raja. I mean, let me take a look at his practice laps really fast here. Where you at, Roger? So like he's running, right off the bat, he's running 28-second lap times, 28. I mean, he mainly stays in 28 and 30s and stuff, or 28 and running a lot of 28 ones, 28 twos, and then on long run migrates into 29s. Whereas I'm not really seeing like Mayer. Like Mayer stays in like 28s pretty much his entire practice session. Allgaier stays in 28s all the way until lap 22. I'm concerned that the fall off that Raja has, he hits 29s pretty fast, even after hitting the adjustments. I just don't think he has a pretty good long run car here. Yet again, I mean, if he doesn't, the O2 car is fairly decent. He just didn't run a Q lap due to mechanical issues. But I am concerned about playing guys back there. I'm going a lap down. Sweet. Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Man, I think that's mainly it. I mean, I don't really have a ton to say. I think it's worth always saying what my best lineups are, because I don't intend to play those because obviously subscribers are here and stuff. Like yet again, make a pivot somewhere, but it's looking like my best lineup is Austin Hill, Allgaier, Sanchez, Ryan Sieg, Tanner Gray, and Blaine Perkins. I think you can very easily make that a lineup that won't be duplicated. But those are the type of lineups that I'm probably going to be looking at and trying to play and stuff. Now that one does have Austin Hill in it, which is interesting. So it believes that him at what do I have him at 49.15 is enough. But we can looking at different ranges of outcomes really fast. Let me look at these guys in the back of the field. Who is the best for a top 20 here? Yeah, I got LeVar Scott. Bilicki, Perkins, pretty decent for a top 20. Top 25. I got Ellis at 18% in the top 5. I got him finishing between 25th and 20th most of the time. Yeah, I'm interested in LeVar Scott today and Josh Bilicki. Those are probably the guys that I'll be using and stuff. Yeah, that's mainly it. If you want to see any of the PayDirt stuff, or any of the PayDirt stuff, any of the paywall stuff. I mean, if you've watched me for years, typically I have stuff on the screen. I'm just not doing it right now because the subscription, if you want access to literally everything on the site, if you use PD Welcome, it's $20. Why would I show anything on the screen? There. Shout out to the Kiss Army again. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.